I feel like I'm marathoning today, so I've had work. I had finished editing, I did the thumbnail, I'm uploading stuff, and now I have 2 minutes until I go live with Patreons to just hang out and read. And I rolled at the very end of the last episode, and hopefully I still have the footage of what I rolled, because I then didn't even go to the shelves because I knew I'm gonna cut out the vlog there. We did get number 6, and number 6 is this. We actually had number 6 before, but I do have new prompts. I shuffled them by your suggestions and I put one in. It's possible it's still gonna be the same one because the same prompt was in the same like pile of, you know, not used ones currently. This is a fairly short novel. I can see multiple authors there. I already am aware that I don't know what this is. I know it's supposed to be like a horror, mermaidy horror thing, but I'm gonna stream right now, so I only want to open and see what the prompt is because I have to know. I've already left it out for so many hours. I have to know or I will be stressing. So we don't want that because again, I'm nervous. I'm nervous for that. Create a fun pattern based on the book. So when I was writing this, I did think of like super, not like very high key effort because I didn't want to like stress myself out, but kind of like a cartoonish pattern of a couple of elements and then make like a pattern. At least I know I can go for like sea theme, my least favorite theme, but because it's like darker. Could be fun, although it's probably gonna be more playful than what this is gonna be. But I don't believe that, oh my god, I'm late. I don't believe that there's gonna be any audiobook for this. So I might as well just start reading this physically with the gang, because that's also fine, because I feel like I need to just be immersed in something. I feel like I've been going 15 miles an hour, if you know, today, and I feel like I need to slow down a bit. So that's the plan. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna check in with you with hopefully a little bit of progress, but our sprints mainly are just kind of talking a lot. So might not be a lot of reading done, but hopefully some. And welcome to week 3 of our experiment. Hello. I have a very rough facial pain today, so I'm like somewhat struggling, but we're here. I just went and did a little shop because I am preparing, well, first of all, just for eating. And so I have a Valentine's Day Patreon thingy tomorrow, which I'm so excited for. And I thought I'm gonna do like a charcuterie type of situation. Fingers crossed it actually lasts till tomorrow, because I feel like I'm currently very hungry and I'm looking at all of these things and I'm like, those look nice. But here's my little haul. So I found this, which looks like it will be very tasty. Then I have sriracha cheese. Then I also have paprika cheddar. I have, of course, croissant, which is not going to be for today. But then I have these pretzels, and then this is technically also a pretzel. It's like a cheese one. I got them because I didn't see these before. And then at this point I already had them in the thing, so I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm taking both. Some very nice looking tomatoes, and then look how cute. I definitely didn't need this, but I mean, that is adorable. Kind of matchy with that. We also have this, which is gonna be a treat. Hummus. Have some apples. I have some biscuits again because hearts. I was just basically going for everything with hearts on them. And I have a single person pizza, which is gonna be great. I'm personally very excited, mainly because I'm currently very hungry, but also it's just gonna be wholesome, and I'm just excited. I have started reading a little bit of the current book of choice. Definitely quite bizarre and cruel sounding. It's very interesting. I thankfully did find an audiobook on Spotify because my brain was not braining and my pain levels are making reading physically quite hard. So it's been helpful. Basically, I've just spent 4 hours doing the Valentine's Day stream with my Patreons, and instead of actually doing sprints, I've just spoke for 4 hours. So my voice, I'm actually very surprised how it doesn't have much of a rasp after, I mean, it has some, but when does it not? After 4 hours of speaking non-stop, took 1 5-minute break. kind of impressed. I am a bit struggling with this book, I'm not gonna lie. I know it's short, but I actually notoriously have bad luck with short books. I had the same with Annihilation, I had the same with Hex, I had the same with This Is How You Lose the Time War. I think because a lot of them, at least that I try, have this very kind of lyrical writing style. This one doesn't necessarily have a lyrical writing style, but it has a lyrical style, if that makes sense. It's very say a thing by saying a lot of different things, and then people will, oh Zeus, that's unhinged, and then people will get that thing from that, if that makes sense. It's a lot of like it's an atmospheric book, and that is my look at this boy. Hi. Atmosphere, if we go by Copile, is one of my least prioritized categories. So I historically struggled with atmospheric things. Again, see the things I've mentioned, which is funny because I do think that atmosphere is actually crucial. Me as a reader, it cannot be a driving factor, because it is not enough to keep my attention. Now that is a very personal preference. I actually drift. I need to have a character to hold on to, or I need to have a plot that is clear to anchor me. Otherwise, I drift like a plastic bag in the wind, and that's on me, but also I know myself, and I think this is just gonna be one of those. And really appreciate the message here, and I also think that the mermaid-like creatures are descendant from pregnant slave women that were thrown off to the sea, and that is such an interesting concept that makes you immediately uncomfortable and feeling vengeful. And it's just, it's such a strong premise, but I am struggling with the way that it's being told because there's a lot of atmosphere, not a lot of anything else for me to kind of follow it along. And I'm just notorious at like losing my grip on the story if that is what's happening. I'm gonna give it another little bit, and then if not, then I think I might just give up because it's gonna be one of those like it's not you, it's me scenarios, and it's becoming like a fear because I've been encountering this more and more, but at least I have been encountering this so much that I actually can tell you the exact reasons as to why this happens to me in stories, and at least I guess I have that knowledge, but it still stings. So hello, I have finished reading this during my lunch break. I have also replaced some of the missing numbers because I forgot to do that. Well, I had 2 missing from before, but I have finished The Deep, and I will say just after the previous update, it did get much easier to follow because there was more dialogue involved, and that helped immensely. There's like a new character that came in, and it's really, it's just gutturally sad, very thought-provoking. I really enjoyed that part of it. I think the idea of it, or the inspiration, the song, really important, and it obviously focuses a lot on the importance of memories and identity and intergenerational trauma, healing, carrying the burden of the past. There was also a little bit of a relationship exploration. I think my favorite part was when the main character, they were talking with someone else and they were exchanging information about each other's species, and I think that was my favorite part. It's obviously not surprising because I really like any type of theme like that, is specifically in sci-fi. This is not, but I'm bound to like a theme like this as well. But I do think that for me personally, the writing style and the way that this was set up was a little bit hard to follow. It's again because it is very atmospheric. It's not necessarily to my personal preference, but I also acknowledge the importance of the themes and masterful way that it was done and presented. I think it's very unique in that sense as well. And of course we had the prompt. Logan is away for work, and so he took the iPad with him because he does draw on it way more than I do. But my original plan was to doodle some things for it, but I couldn't, so I used the assets that I already had and created this pattern for it. Abstained from the mermaids, to be honest, because I don't think it's like mermaid adjacent, but it's not quite a mermaid really, so I didn't want to even go there. But we'll just embrace the deep, even though it's still probably too cheery for how the deep was in my head from this book. But at least we have like a whale, or what I hope is a whale. But you know what this means? It means that we get to do another roll. So I'm gonna unhook you from this and let's do this. It is waiting for us. $15. What are you? Oh yay, okay, good. Okay, the reason I'm rejoicing at this is because this is our book club read. So I was going to have to squeeze this in regardless. I mean, it's only the 15th of the month, so oh my god, it's only half month. I have read so much. This could be one of the best months of the year already. I mean, at the end of the year, this might still remain one of the best. Although, I mean, we have the readathon coming. Anyway, I was really hoping this is gonna come up. If it didn't come up, I probably would have stopped the experiment a little bit earlier because I still need to read this for the book club. But now we can just integrate it. And I don't know what it tells you about me currently, but immediate thought is, look at all these colors that are not blue, red, and yellow. My blanket life is becoming better. But the book is Mindwalker, and I had this on my radar ever since it came out because obviously of the name. One of my guild names in the Magical Readathon is called Mindwalkers. I will say I called it before the book came out, before I knew that there's gonna be a book called like that, okay? Just to set the record straight, alright? But it genuinely excites me because of that simple fact, and I have then since heard that it's also a really fun book. It is a YA one, so we're threading carefully because of that as well, but I love how the blurb is pure adrenaline shot straight into your veins. I love that. I don't know what it actually, I mean, I've read the synopsis a while back, but I don't actually remember what it is about. I'm gonna keep it that way and then summarize it to you when I know a little bit more from reading, obviously in a non-spoilery manner. But it is time for us to get the prompt. Which way is it? Ah. Okay, so let me explain this one. It says find object and then walk outside until you see it. Alright, I mean, I have not left the house in way too many days, so fitting, but also a little bit scary. There are a couple of caveats here. We are gonna try and find an object that is not too silly. Like, it's not gonna be some sort of, especially in a sci-fi, it's not gonna be something that we're never gonna see, but obviously we're not gonna pick like a car if there are cars here either, because that would be too easy. So I'm trying to look for an object that is common enough, it's mentioned in the book, but also is not entirely silly. And non-existent or super rare. And then I'm gonna go and take a walk outside and hopefully stop walking at some point when we actually find said object, and obviously take you along with me. I've seen someone on TikTok do that when they run. Someone leaves them a comment and then they run until they see that object. Very, very heavily impressed. I could never, but we're gonna attempt to do that and walk and see how we get on. The jacket? I don't think so, right? Some foil under this on the spine. But I'm excited. It's a sci-fi. It's like, it sounds, because the blurbs, it sounds like it possibly could be quite plot heavy, which honestly I'm kind of in the mood for. I'm quite in the mood for. I feel like a lot, like, granted, some of the books I absolutely loved already. This, I would say that to me, who doesn't actually give out 5 stars very often, to me this is already quite successful because I've had The Measure was probably going to be a very strong contender to the rest of the year as a top read. I had some books that were disappointing, however, a lot of them had deep thoughts or dark undertones, and a lot of it was also quite heavy on the character. Not all, and the deep was quite you know, heavy in the topics, not really focusing on the characters and not really plot driven. And I think it would be a very good balance to have a more plot driven fast-paced. I don't know if it is, but maybe fast-paced book. Very excited. Love the cover. Look at that. Look at that pink. Hello, I have an update for you, but I feel like I need to also update you in general to the fact that I am not doing super well. I think the big part of this week, in between the little clips, especially towards the second half of the week, was me just really not handling my current pain level. I have a flare-up going on in my side of my face. This is not a new thing. It started January last year, so it's been going on for a while. I've investigated it plenty, but we didn't find the reason, and we're just kind of hoping it goes away. It hasn't gone away, but it's flaring up currently way more than I usually have it. So last time, the first thing that I went and checked, at first we thought it was a sinus infection. It wasn't. But the second thing that we immediately needed to check was like dental, because it feels like my entire like side of teeth it feels like a toothache, which is fantastic to live for with the whole year, but again, it wasn't as bad as it is now. So before I go and bother the other doctors again being like, please help, because I can't do this anymore, I think I have to go and just make sure that it's definitely nothing to do with that, and it's not like a new thing that just happens to be in the same spot, which I know is not likely, but at the same time I don't want to gaslight myself in case it is, and then it's just like, you know, I actually really hope it is, and I like my fingers are crossed, especially for some like very easy fix dental thing. My dream. Because last time I went there and they were like, no, your teeth are fine, and I was like, well, it doesn't feel like it, so all I can hear is that there's nothing you can do for me. And then I go and pay them for it. Anyway, doesn't matter. Basically what I'm saying is that the entire of my weekend was just me crying on the sofa pretty much and just watching so much TV, because that's the only thing that kind of distracts me even a little bit. None of my painkillers work on this, so we're just thriving. But anyway, I think it was peak during the weekend and on Friday, but I did manage to do some reading in between all that. When I say some, it's actually quite a bit. I'm here and I'm almost done with Mindwalker. I can't remember if I actually told you what this is about. Mindwalkers are people who work for the government in this post-apocalyptic, and it's children that agreed to be modified and installed with this technology where they can be trained from a very young age and go into soldiers' minds to get them out of the situation that they cannot handle anymore, and basically walk them through and get like and save them if they can. In return, they get to live a fairly lavish life, I guess, and their families are sorted, which is a big seller, obviously, financially in a place where finances are quite like hard to get by. The hook, however, is that because the system that gets installed into their minds is not stable, essentially it fries before they turn 20, or like around 20. So it caps their life expectancy. And we follow our main character, who is approaching her twilight era, which is what they called it, and something happens in the institution that makes her the villain, and so she has to go on a mission of proving herself innocent. So that is the kind of like premise. I'm actually really enjoying it, and it is an easy sci-fi to kind of slip into. It's definitely very plot driven, which I was in the mood for, so that point that works out. The one thing that would be the biggest kind of nitpick is that it is extremely predictable. I could tell you where we're going by like chapter 4 and the chapters are very short as well, so very early on I think it's pretty obvious what's gonna happen, but I have had a twist towards the end that I didn't actually anticipate, so I think it makes it more forgivable, that the overall direction is quite predictable, which I don't necessarily even mind, but obviously, like, you know, it's less exciting when you kind of know where you're headed. But at the same time, I did get a little like, oh, moment, so you know, that's fine. But I haven't done the prompt yet for this because I genuinely was bedbound and not really wanting to move or too able to move because my body was exhausted. I have slept probably like 12 hours each end of the weekend because I just wanted to be, I'm not gonna lie, I just wanted to be unconscious for as long as possible because not thriving with the pain levels. But anyway, life must go on, and I'm currently on my lunch break and I want to do this prompt because I think a little, and I genuinely a little, I'm hoping, walk would be fantastic, I think, just mentally as well. But also, I washed my hair yesterday, but it looks like I haven't. That pisses me off. It took a lot of energy, but it looks so floofy. Like, what is this? I don't want to like muck about looking for the word, so I've decided to go back to chapter 1 and see like what's the first word, and then if we cannot physically do that, then we're gonna go for the next one and basically find that. So the first sentence is, it's impossible to ignore an alarm that's going off inside your head. So the first word that's an item is an alarm, and I think I'm gonna go and do that because I would hope that it wouldn't be too difficult to do. However, I sometimes don't really understand how the alarms look like compared to some other shit. I'm pretty sure there's some like box on the entrance of our flats, but I know it's not an alarm because we don't have an alarm, so we'll just have to guess. Maybe I'll find a couple and hope that one of them was. I think alarm is a good one to go with because hopefully it's not gonna take me forever because I don't have the mental capacity to do mental or physical capacity to do that. Also feel a little bit invasive trying to try and find any type of alarms, but hopefully I can film it without like filming too much and invading any privacy. So I'm gonna go do this and hopefully find what we need to find. And I also really hope that it doesn't start raining because I do not, again, I just washed my hair. I don't want it to be completely... Anyway, let's go for a walk. Okay, I am back, and not only am I back, I am done with the book. So I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. I think I don't know exactly where it's gonna go, but I think I will be reading the second one. It's not necessarily my new favorite, but I had a lot of fun, and I appreciate the humor in the writing. It is definitely quite predictable, quite tropey, quite like... It doesn't push any boundaries by any means, but I really enjoyed it. I have no major qualms with it. I did go for, it actually was quite nice outside. I thought it was gonna be colder. It looks colder than it is, so I went on for a tiny bit longer walk than I thought I would, but I did find quite a few alarms. I mean, it says alarm on it, so if it's not an alarm, I don't know, but it says alarm on it, so we're gonna be fine. And I actually did see a couple of different types, but for some of them I really didn't feel comfortable taking a photo, even if I zoom in so you cannot see where it is. But also, being a foreigner in UK, walking around taking photos of alarm systems is not a look I want to necessarily encourage or risk. So I definitely, it didn't take me a long while to find one, but I will say I have seen multiples. I just did not feel okay taking pictures of it. It really made me feel like a criminal. It was not a look. It was not a look. But you know what's even more exciting is that this is week number 3 where I finish with a promise of a new book right as we start the next vlog, and it fills me with joy. Is the next one, I think the next one's gonna be the last one. It's gonna be slightly, or maybe not actually. We might still have 2 weeks. Depends how I want to do it. If I want to finish it earlier or finish it later, because it goes into March a little bit, but I could go on. I don't have anything too exciting planned until middle of March, where I'm going to announce the magical readathon, because that's somehow come on here and it's here, but I guess it will depend also how I'm feeling and stuff. But yeah, we finished up this one. Page-wise, definitely the lowest one that I've read, but still honestly smashing it by my usual standards to what I read the deep, and I read this one. I'm also just very excited to make a square for this because it has pinks and stuff, so it's a bit more fun. I have another project on the go. I don't even know if I've talked about it, but I'm gonna talk to you in the next one because I want to get this edited, start editing this. So thank you so much for watching. I hope it was still fun, even though I feel like this one was like a little bit less adventurous maybe, but I'm excited for whatever the prompts get us to do next turn. Slightly nervous because I feel like so far I've been quite lucky, but I mean, I did try to make them not too torturous, so that would be a bit, you know, harder. This one also could have been really, really bad, but thank God the first word is alarm, because if it was something like a spaceship, obviously we wouldn't have used that. But even like the, I think there was a bedside table on the next page, and I'm like, I would have to just walk to a store, because otherwise I'm not just gonna find it, you know. Anyway, actually, I get to do the teas again, so, ugh. I mean, I haven't replaced number 15, so I'm hoping it's not gonna repeat. But other than that, let's see where we are. Okay. Are you ready, kids?